Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the United States is, quote, in the works of labeling the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. To break down this massive news, we're joined by Middle East expert Mark Halawa. Now, Mark, you were born and raised in Kuwait to a Palestinian refugee family. You live in Jerusalem. You're currently in Abu Dhabi. You're the perfect person to ask. So let's just start from here. Who is the Muslim Brotherhood, and why would this be such a big deal?
Thank you, Raj. There's a lot of politics in the Middle East that I don't know the details of, and I don't claim to do. But the Muslim Brotherhood is something I grew up with at home. My father is an ardent opponent to the Muslim Brotherhood because he went to school and went to university in Egypt during the times when Nasser was a president, and he was kind of targeted by the Muslim Brotherhood over there. And anyhow, Muslim Brotherhood is this organization like a mafia organization that was founded at the beginning of the century. There's a lot of roots and a lot of detail. We're not getting into the politics of it right now or the foundation of it, but anybody could Google or go to ChatGPT and get the gist of it. Muslim Brotherhood early on in the century joined Hitler and the Nazis in helping form what's called the Muslim division of SS division, and recruiting Egyptian soldiers back in the day. I'm sorry, Egyptian peasants, people that didn't even know what they're doing, who they're fighting. They give them uniforms and they shipped them to different places, and many of them didn't return. There's a beautiful video about this by Abu Dhabi TV that I could share with you. Now, the significance of being in Abu Dhabi right now and why I'm excited, Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates that spearheaded the banning of the Muslim Brotherhood in 2014 in participation with Saudi Arabia. They labeled, I think, 83 or 85 entities, many of them local, but many international, connected to halal organizations and other outreach organizations, some local, some abroad, some in America, like CARE, for example, the Council of American Islamic Relations, so-called, and others, many others. Some are student groups, but they led this push, and were joined with Saudi Arabia a few years later by Bahrain. Kuwait, the country I grew up with, suffered greatly. Kuwait is one of the richest, probably countries in the world with a lot of oil there happening. But the decisions, because Kuwait is like semi-democratic in a way, that they have a vibrant parliament system since before the independence of the country of Kuwait in 1961. But that was taken over by the Muslim Brotherhood. That really crippled the country, crippled progress in that country. And you could find Kuwait today. I say this with love. I love the country. I love the people. But Kuwait is much more behind the advanced Gulf countries, as you would imagine, or your audience would imagine. Why is this significant today? I mean, this should have happened many years back. Secretary Rubio is, utmost respect for the courage to go after such an organization. I wish him the best of luck. This organization acts as, it's called political Islam. Political Islam has many roles, wears many hats. Many of those people are highly educated, but at the same time, very religious in their own way, but not religious as in religious to the text. They have their own ideology, their own philosophy. Consider it like a cult. They have their own missions and their own roles. It's like mafia. In the morning, I'm a judge or I'm a physicist. But in the afternoon, we sit down for meetings and we decide how we're going to take over this country, how we're going to weaken the political system, let's say in Ireland, which they're very strong. They can't just live together with others. They cannot live in America without having to do something to undermine the political system. This is the Muslim Brotherhood. It's a cancer that keeps on spreading or giving, or, There are others that would explain this perhaps with examples better than mine. Yet, if you speak to the average young person who've seen the Muslim Brotherhood at their prime during the period of President Morsi, who took over presidency of Egypt, they will tell you that era was a very dark era. The things that they heard, they spoke out loud. One of the leaders of Hamas said, do you think we care about, this is a video that I could share with you. Do you think we care about Palestine? What is Palestine? There never existed a Palestine in history, he says. This is a video of Mahmoud al-Zahar, one of the founders of Hamas. He says it's a sliver. You can't even see it on the map. Our vision is greater. We would like to spread the caliphate and bring down the governments of the Middle East and beyond and take over the world. This is what we want. They have their own mission, and not all of the things that we know about or that they speak about, we know. So they're secretive organization, a lot of info online, but there are more experts on that perhaps could shed some better light.
Well, Mark, that's just the fascinating part. Obviously, I've talked to a lot of folks in the Middle East, and the Muslim Brotherhood is outlawed, as you just mentioned, in places like the UAE, and I think you mentioned Saudi Arabia, but not in the United States and other Western European nations. It's this conundrum. Why has it taken the West so long to realize what the Muslim Brotherhood is up to?
I wonder why. Some leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood were indicted for funding terrorism and having connections with Hamas 20-some years ago. One of those leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood today is the president or the head of the CAIR organization, CAIR. Those guys seek to play certain players that are affiliated with them in roles of power run into office. Some of them obviously connected them, some are not. Some of them seem like just an average person, a woman that does not wear a hijab, or some guy that has, some communist-leaning politics. There's a lot to investigate. Perhaps Senator or Secretary Rubio would benefit, and I'm sure he knows this, of communicating with countries like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, Jordan even, or Egypt, who have got to a degree of understanding of where this is going, and they just went and banned them as much as they could, politically and financially. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mark. You know, your native language is Arabic. You live in the region. You know this backwards and forwards. I guess the question that I think that you mentioned that I find really interesting is you said political Islam. What does that mean? I mean, in the United States, for example, like what could the Muslim Brotherhood or CAIR or whomever be trying to do with this quote unquote political Islam?
We might get lost in the detail, but I'm going to give you an example right now that I'm not a scholar at this topic. There are scholars out there that could answer these questions in more detailed manner, including probably my friend Yigal Carmon from memory. Let's give this example. You would have an organization that would say, we have a social assistance program. Like Hamas. This is how Hamas started. Social assistance program. We help with education. We help with this. We help with that. But these guys pick and choose certain parts of. I'm not going to call it religion, because some hadith or certain verses of the Quran that they interpret in their own way and build a whole educational program behind it, and have teachers embedded and ministers of education, especially in countries of the Gulf, for many, many years. Saudi Arabia was crippled by this kind of educational system, and Kuwait. We grew up on facts that were not facts, hadiths that were not hadith, that were not real, they were absolutely made up. This is something Saudi Arabia has been. There's a word in Arabic, tanqih, which is like you weed out all the bad stuff. There's like 6,000 hadiths that were embedded in the books for many years and that did not exist. Like, they had no ground. And some of these hadiths push the youth towards murder, killing, extremism, terrorism, demonizing Christians and Jews, for example, their emblem, the two swords, and what they write between them is "Qatiluhum wa qatiluhum," and fight them and kill them. Who says that? How could
Wait, that's their logo?
That's the logo. You could look their logo up online. Yeah.
Wait, say it again. Just it's important, I think, to understand this. What's the logo say?
To kill them. Qatiluhum is a word that could mean fight them and kill them, but they interpreted that it's our mission to go after the infidels and fight them wherever they are in order to spread Islam and have that worldwide caliphate. I'm not sure if I could legally speak against, I'm not supposed to speak about other countries here sitting in the United Arab Emirates. They're sensitive.
I don't want you to get you in trouble. So
no, I just want to say,
let me.
There's a worldwide student Muslim Brotherhood program that started a long time ago. That was by the father of the ruling princess of a nation nearby that hosts the Muslim Brotherhood, hosts Al-Qaeda, and hosts Hamas till this very day. That was the father of that princess. And how could I say, they established the first chapter in the United States of America. He was going to school there in the 20s. The first.
Does this country rhyme with Batar?
Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, it does. The first.
I don't want to get you in trouble, brother. I don't want to get you in trouble.
It must be said, this country suffered a lot from this. Just people were working against the very foundation and the leaders of this country. So, yeah.
Well, Mark Halawa, I appreciate your time and perspective. I can't even imagine what time it is in Abu Dhabi right now. So get to sleep, my friend. God bless.
I didn't sleep much last night, but thank you so much for calling me. It's a pleasure always.